Hello and welcome. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite characters in Shining Nikki, and that is Lolory, the Nineer ambassador of Elegance. And it's interesting because she's a side character. She doesn't get any real in-depth character development, and yet I find her very appealing. And it's her character arc. Her character arc, it reminds me of Elsa, not that the character arc is the same, but in that Elsa's character arc was really, it resonated with so many people because we've all been there. We've all been in the box. We've all been forced to conform and act a certain way that suppressed our creativity and our individuality. And so when she sings Let It Go, and the song is powerful and the message is powerful, and we see her blossom. We see her just blossom into this amazing, powerful individual that she was forced to just put a lampshade over her own light, and then we get to see her shine. And we've all felt that. And so there was this, like I said, the strong resonance with this character arc. And though Lolory's character arc is different, that is not her character arc. For me, at least, I have the same kind of resonance with her character arc. Not that let's get into it. You can decide for yourself. All right, so she's also the guild admin, which is super cool. Since she's a side character, she's nowhere within the main story. We never meet her within the main story. She doesn't move the main plot along. Let's go take a look. Where we first meet her is in chapter 2. Once again, it's like I said, it's on a side stage. She's not in the main story. So Momo and Nikki are in line to meet an idol who is also a very good designer, and that's Lolory. So that's when they first meet Lolory in challenge stage 2-4. That's when we also first meet her, and then in chapter 6 we meet her again in a side stage. Once again, not within the main story stages. In challenge stage 6-3, and here she talks about being the guild admin and how being the guild admin that led to her becoming an idol, which I think is a super cool story. They don't have it in the game yet. I'd really love to read it, but they don't have it. I don't know if they'll eventually put it in, but we certainly don't have it now. Since she is the guild admin, we see her in the guild. Hang on just for a second. Okay, I'm using photos for this because I didn't want to show my guild information. So here she is as the guild admin. We see her when we first go into our guild. I love listening to her so much. And then she also, at least this is headcanon for me, she hosts the quiz, the guild party. Like I said, this is my own headcanon. And I imagine it like an elegant pub quiz. Instead of drinking beers, we're drinking cups of tea and answering the quiz. Like I said, this is just my own imagining. All right, let's head back to the game. Okay, here we are back in the game. And finally, the last place we see her, and there's two reflections, is there's two reflections that drop out of the permanent pav. And her SSR reflection is actually in the Gleam pav right now. Midnight Elegance, there it is. And it's on a drop rate, as it has been increased. But they're always in the permanent pav, the two reflections and their outfits. So there's an SSR reflection, which is right here, Midnight Elegance. And then there's an SR reflection, which is right here, Daisy's Diary. So let's go look at those outfits. Go to the index. They're in Nineer Adventure. And here's the SSR. And this is the Awakened Recolor. Here's the original. And so these stories feature in the story, these outfits feature in the stories that are in the reflection, that are told in the reflection. And that's because the reflection are the emotions and the inspiration and the memories that are contained in this outfit from the designer. And so I don't know if it's always, but certainly most of the time, these outfits feature in the story. This outfit is certainly in the SSR story. And here's the SR one. And this outfit is definitely in the SR story as well. Now this is the Awakened recolor. And here's the original. And so this original one we'll see, because we're only doing the SR story today. So this is in the story, and we might come back to it when we're reading the story and this comes up. Perhaps we'll come back and look at it again. But this outfit is definitely in the story. So let's head over to the arc where the reflections are. And here's her SSR. That's the awakened form. Oops, wrong thing. And there is the original form. And that's the SSR one. And let's head over to the SR one, which is the story we're going to be talking about today. Here it is, Daisy's Diary. There's the original. There's the awakened. So, whenever you're talking about a character in a story, I think the first question you ask is, what makes her interesting? Why does her story resonate with the readers? And with Lolory, as with many character arcs, it's her transformation and her strength that we find both admirable and hopeful. When we're trying to go through our own transformation, Lolory's story and Lolory herself is like a beacon of hope lighting the way when we get discouraged along our real life journey. And that's what's one of the great things about stories is they provide hope. They help us with what we're going through in real life as it's mirrored in the story. Here in the game, her stories are very brief. This SR story is very brief, and it doesn't go into the details, the work and the emotional toll that a journey of transformation takes. It doesn't go into many of those details, or hardly any. And willfully choosing your personality and course correcting towards that choice is difficult and can take a long time. And so in Lolory's story, we skip all that human drama. I mean, she's one way to begin with. When we first meet her, she decides she wants to change, and we see the beginning of her transformation very briefly. She wins the Star Heaven Swan contest, and then we see her 20 years later, after most of her transformation work has been done off screen, and she's a different person. So skipping the journey of self-transformation as well as minimizing the work of it at the beginning does absolutely weaken the story. So to me, Lolory is more of an archetype, an idea, and a hope, rather than like a literary character. So then the question becomes, what archetype is she? And for me, she's the archetype of willful transformation. She recognizes that she doesn't like who she is or where her life is going. She discovers who she does want to be, and she successfully changes herself and her life. And I think that resonates strongly, not only with me, but it resonates strongly with a yearning that exists in a lot of us. There are parts of our personality that we haven't realized. I mean, certainly for me, there are parts of my personality that I haven't realized that are still hidden away. You know, these little points of light are hidden away in the shadows of our soul. And they're languishing and waiting to be brought out into the light and to play. And so Lolory's story provides hope and even perhaps the impetus for us to willfully change direction and to bring these parts of ourselves out, to bring them to the surface. So we're just going to read the SR reflection today. This is a story that covers her transformation. We meet her in high school, and she's 17 years old, and she's apathetic and lost. She's considered the school's rebel. She has no friends, but she hangs out with the other apathetic and lost kids because they follow her around. They appear when she skips class, but she doesn't consider them friends. She thinks very little of them, and she dismisses them as brainless. And she says she thinks different. She's different from them because she thinks. So let's go ahead and get into her story. We're going to start here with chapter 1, definition of elegance. One afternoon, all of us, age 17 and outcasts, ditch class and go to the roof for fresh air. When everyone is bored out of their minds, I, Lolory the Gothic girl, look at the sky in a daze and ask an improper question. So she has a couple of labels, actually. She's Lolory the Gothic girl, and she's the school rebel. So by 17, she's already been labeled not only by her society, which in this case is school, but she's taken those labels on herself. And that's not at all unusual. I think at 17, we pretty much were all like that. We had all found our group. We had all painted ourselves. We were so young, painted ourselves with these very broad brushstrokes of this is who I am. But like I said, very young at this age. 17 is very young, and you haven't discovered the nuances of your personality yet. So anyway, she looks at the sky in a daze and asks an improper question. I think it's improper because they're kind of they're the kids that they're outcasts, and they think they have disdain towards normality. So that's why this question is improper. It's because it's the group it's being asked towards. And Lolory asks, "What does elegance mean?" And the long-haired guy. Oh, by the way, they don't have names. They mean so little to her. These people are so insignificant to her that they don't even have names. The long-haired guy says, "Huh?" His long hair covers half of his face. The guy takes a drag on his cigarette. Nah, forget it. He's not important anyway. The long-haired guy says, "Just being high and mighty." So they clearly have disdain for elegance. I've got to think of another word than disdain. I might put this on pause and go check out thesaurus. But anyways, he is being dismissive of her question. Oh, it's just being elegant means they're being high and mighty. A blue-haired girl in a hoodie giggles. And she says, "Why not ask those goody two-shoes in the classroom? They may think elegance is to walk with your head held high." Once again, there's no respect for the idea of being elegant here. A girl with colored hairpins and accessories here and there gently relaxes, enjoying the fresh air. And she says, "But the smartest boy in class is really handsome and rich. Look at his school bag. He must be the epitome of elegance." So clearly her three people that she's talking to, we're not going to call them friends, they don't even have names, think very little of elegance. And Lolory says, "Forget it. Let's pretend I didn't ask." The blue-haired girl says, "What's with the school rebel today? You want to change in style?" Oops. I don't answer. There's no point in asking this group of people. Are they your friends? Aren't they your friends? They only appear when I skip class. I'm not one of those good girls in the classroom, but I'm not a brainless rebel. We are different. So she doesn't fit in. She's not fitting in with the good girls in the classroom. She's not fitting in with the brainless rebels. She's more outcast than the outcasts. Different how? I'm still thinking. I think with this, the translations are a little rough sometimes. I think what she means here is that she's not brainless. She is intelligent. Today's clouds travel exceptionally slowly and look great when they change shape with the wind. It reminds me of the woman I bumped into that day. The scene is still vivid in my memory. She wore a simple black dress with proper jewelry, but her eyes were more brilliant than gems. Elegance. It was the first word that jumped into my mind at the time, and I can't stop thinking about it. All right, so now we're going to go back in time to when she bumped into this woman, this elegant woman. So we're in chapter 2, theater encounter. And we're going back in time now by a month. Once again, you can't really tell that because the translations are a little rough in patches. It's a month ago when the Star Heaven Swan election is about to start. The square is full of tourists and the tavern is so packed. Tourist says, "Are you contestants too? That style. Is the Star Heaven Swan pageant so desperate that anyone can participate?" So because of the way they're dressed and they don't care about their appearance and they're all dressed in black and they're gothic or they're goth, this is Nanir, they get looked down upon. The arcade owner says, "Oh, the pub is often closed these days. I want to watch the pageant for myself." And a reporter says, "I'm doing a feature report on the Star Heaven Swan. Can you take me backstage, please?" We skipped classes as usual, but didn't know where to go. Discussions of the Star Heaven Swan always found their way to us. Hairpin Girl says, "Star Heaven Swan this, Star Heaven Swan that, even more annoying than a teacher nagging us." And the long-haired man, we're going to put that in air quotes. We're going to say boy, guy, we'll go back to guy. He's only 17 and he's clueless. Where to next? Maybe we can hang out with the teachers back at school. And Lolory says, "Forget it. They don't want us to disturb others from studying." Graduation was coming. Most people were studying hard. Only a few will give a hard pass to the preparation for the exit exams. I was always wandering, not even knowing where I belonged. So I think this is important here. She's really lost. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she wants. She's wandering, searching, looking, not knowing where she belongs. She doesn't belong with the good girls. She doesn't belong with the outcasts. She's still wandering around trying to find who she is and where she wants to go. The blue-haired girl says, "Well, let's go to the opening ceremony of the Star Heaven Swan pageant. Anywhere is better than school." I gave a casual shrug. Climbing up a high mast next to the Lakeside Theater, we mocked the jubilant crowd, their clothes, manners, and fervor. This is very much 17-year-old me. Like, everything's beneath me. Look at these people. Look at these sheeple. Yeah, this was me at 17. As 17-year-olds, we enjoyed the utmost fun and didn't care about tomorrow. Soon the hairpin girl fell asleep. The blue-haired one pulled out her game console, and the long-haired guy hit on other girls. I was the only one gazing at the previous Star Heaven Swan. I can hear her encouragement to those contestants. "The prettiest girl. I'm so much prettier." Lolory. Talking to myself, I climbed down the mast. The blue-haired girl says, "Are you done?" "It's just a show. Bores me to death." The blue-haired girl, "So where are you going?" Once again, we're having a poignant answer here that means more than what it says. I didn't know. It wasn't fun being at home or hanging out. I didn't want to go back to school where the good kids are. She doesn't know where she's going. Not just now, but like ever. Like she doesn't know where she's, she doesn't belong anywhere. Wandering behind the theater for a while, I found myself now near the backstage. We'll say you got nowhere else to go. Looks like you really have nowhere else to be. I just wanted to see what kind of girls would join this boring competition. Most were young girls learning art. Everyone had their own talent, exquisite makeup, and dream for the Star Heaven Swan. Looking around, I didn't know what I was expecting, but I felt disappointed. Now I wanted to leave. So I guess, like I said, she's wondering, she's trying to find her place in this world. And so she goes backstage at the Star Heaven Swan contest. She's expecting something. She doesn't find it. She's disappointed. So whatever, she doesn't feel a spark. She doesn't feel like she belongs there either. I bumped into someone from the backstage. A fresh and sweet fragrance attacked me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think I would have gone for a different verb there. I don't know, a fresh and sweet fragrance. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'm not attacked. "I'm sorry, you all right?" A hand reached out to me. Hang on, there we go. A hand reached out to me, and I recognized her as the lady who had just delivered a speech on stage. She was the Star Heaven Swan last year, Elena, if I'm not mistaken. A bodyguard helped me stand, yet the contestants and staff passing by we're going to say, not as nice, not as helpful, because we're about to see what they say. Staff, "Are you a contestant? Apologize to Miss Yelena now." Manager, "There's no way we have such a tasteless contestant. She's all dressed in black for the event." So once again, being dismissed. I almost freeze, not because of the remarks from the crowd, but because of the lady in front of me. So that is one thing I do really like about her. From the very beginning, she has a strength of character. And that does exist through both of her stories. You see that strength of character in her SSR story too. And it's really cool and admirable. So she doesn't freeze because of the remarks, people being, dismissive of her and talking down to her, but because of the woman that she's meeting, that she sees. She wore a simple black dress with proper jewelry, but her eyes were more brilliant than gems. She was 1,000 times more gorgeous here than on stage. She was so pleasant, even though she wore a style I didn't like. Yelena looked at me carefully and then smiled gently. You don't seem hurt, which is great. Take it easy and you'll pull it off. So everyone else is saying, oh my gosh, she can't be a contestant. Just look at her. Yelena is saying, take it easy and you'll be fine. So Yelena doesn't, she's very gracious towards her. And not only gracious, encouraging. She nodded at me and then left with a light smile. Come to think of it, that's a surprise. So she didn't find what she was looking for in the other contestants, but she did find something in Yelena. So let's move on to 3. And the Blooming Star Heaven. Since then, every idle afternoon has become particularly long. I can't even listen to a single joke from the group. Another cloud floats by, and another question occurs to me. Have you ever thought about what you're going to do in the future? Hairpin Girl says, oh, Lolory, why are you asking those strange questions recently? Did you hear me just now? And Lolory says, the 12th boyfriend? Forget it, I didn't really. She rolls her eyes, fiddling with her hairpins over and over again. The blue-haired girl says, me? I have no idea. I guess it's boring to be an adult. And the long-haired guy says, I have it figured out. Nothing will be different in the future. Smoking, playing cards, and hooking up with girls. I watch the long-haired boy smoke, and I can indeed imagine his middle-aged life. And that is not a compliment, by the way. He looks at me and suddenly smiles. You'll be a gothic punk for life, isn't that cool? So none of these other kids have any imagination or motivation. They just see themselves continuing on as the way they are. And Lolory definitely does not feel the same way. Hairpin Girl says, what about you? I pause, take a deep breath, and work up the courage. I want to be an elegant lady. And this is where Lolory is born. And this is why I love her so much. Because she saw her future in another person, and that happens. That absolutely happens. Whether it's you, in this case, she sees an elegant lady, but whether it's somebody that's in a job that you're like, oh, I want to do that. Or it could be someone that's dressed a certain way. Absolutely, you can see your future in another person, and you feel it. And that's what's happened to Lolory. The long-haired guy says, huh? Did I hear you right? Our school rebel is going to change? The blue-haired girl says, you've been acting weird since that time. Do you seriously want to take part in the Star Heaven Swan pageant? We're going to go with, is it because of Yelena? Is it because of Yelena? It's not just her. I feel certain now that I know what I want. I want to be an elegant lady wearing a proper dress and being like a flawless portrait. Looking around, there's nothing here except wasting time. But now for the first time, I know where to go. I can see myself standing in the spotlight and shining like a star amidst the bleak future of everyone. That's kind of sad, but the rest was awesome. But I mean, why would you want to be shining like a star amidst the bleak future of everyone? I would want everyone to come with me. Like, hey, let's all go do amazing stuff together. So the rest is pretty awesome, though. Excuse me, but I gotta go. So I do want to go back and do the other one. She does the other choice. If if I remember right, I liked what she said. It was, let's get to, okay, a sudden change. You want to completely change? Yes, I've made up my mind. I love that. I do love that. I've made up my mind. I like decisiveness. With decisiveness comes action, and with action comes fun. So, yeah. Oops. I want to be an elegant lady. I know where to go. I'm still sad about this one. Come on, Lolory, let's lift everybody up. But in all fairness, she does do that towards the end. She is only 17. So we'll give her a little bit of a break, because then she does start becoming encouraging and lifting everybody up, not just herself. Excuse me, but I gotta go, which I also love. Like, okay, I've made up my mind. I'm out of here. I'm going to make this happen now. I almost trot home right into my room and begin my painting, which I think means she should have said sewing or maybe sketching. After a week, I finally complete the costume for the Star Heaven Swan pageant. Refreshing and simple, it has lovely daisies. I dye my hair light brown and wear clean, natural makeup. Okay, so here we have Daisy Diary. Was that what it was called? We might go back and look at it. Pleasant and elegant, unique for a 17-year-old girl. Once again, I'm not too happy about this. I don't like boxing in 17-year-old girls. Like, pleasant and elegant. There's plenty of 17-year-olds that are pleasant and elegant. That's not unique for a 17-year-old girl. So I do disagree with that. However, this is not enough. There's something in Yelena that captures hearts other than appearance and accessories. Smile at no more than 35 degrees, abdomen in. Relax your shoulders and neck. I adjust my posture, practice perfect smiles, give the best wave, and display lots of elegance. My feet are a bit numb, but I don't feel tired at all. It's because she's excited. She's not lost anymore. Let's do Are You Still You? Is this still the rebellious goth girl? I'm still me. I just found my goal. By the way, the SSR story, that is the theme in the SSR story, is that how all the things are you. That your 17-year-old you is you, your 30-year-old you is you, your sad you, your angry you, your scared you. All of these different versions are you. And you don't change fundamentally, because you're always you at the core, and you're multifaceted. So anyways, that's the SSR story. Let's keep going. Now I'm standing on the stage of the Star Heaven Swan pageant. I feel somewhat dizzy when the light hits me in the face. Okay, let's go take a look at the outfit really quick. Just because, I think we could have stayed there and seen the outfit, right? I wonder if we can. Where's our SR story? There it is. Daisy's Diary. Nope. Awaken. All right, let's just go to the index. I'm sure there's a way to do it, and I just don't know it. We'll get back to the story. So she's on the Star Heaven Swan. She's at the Star Heaven Swan pageant. Let's go see what she looks like. Sets, an air adventure. So here's Lolory. This is, except Lolory has blue eyes, so you'd have to imagine this with blue eyes. Oh, and she had light brown hair. This is blonde, so the hair is different as well. But this is what Lolory was wearing for the Star Heaven Swan pageant. This is what she designed, and she put together. All right, let's head back to the story. Go into the arc.
Go to school? That's the most boring thing ever.
Okay, so she's made her outfit. Let's pick the other one. Which one do we pick? A sudden change, or is it because of Yelena? Or do we pick both? Let's do is it because of Yelena? Is it because of Yelena? Did we ask that? Was that how we answered? It's not just her. I feel very certain now that I know what I want. We didn't pick this one, did we? Anyways, I want to be an elegant lady, wearing a proper dress and being like a flawless portrait. For the first time, I know where to go. And that's lovely. That's really lovely. No, that's not so lovely. Okay, we already talked about that. Oh, okay, now I know where we are. She goes, she makes her dress. You're very elegant now. You really are elegant and cute. Thank you for your compliment. I'm one step closer to my goal. Oops, going too fast. Now I'm standing on the stage of the Star Heaven Swan pageant. I feel somewhat dizzy when the light hits me in the face. My brain tells my whole body to be the best it can be. I have never felt so excited and happy like this before. And so I'm just, I'm just so happy for her. And I know what it's like to finally see something and feel something. You're like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want. I'm home now. So there's a relation, I know what she's feeling. I've done my best, and the judges will make their decisions. I wave to the audience and hear loud cheers. Lolory! I look to where the voice came from. It's my teacher. He actually brought the class to cheer for me, including my group. The hairpin girl, Lolory, you're the best. In their eyes, I see astonishment and admiration. And that's amazing. That is amazing. To be inspiration for other people, especially people like them that are outcasts and lost just like she is. And then they see she's chosen to make this change and you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, maybe there's a way out. We don't have to smoke cigarettes and play video games and hook up with girls all the time. We can change. I did it. I've taken the first step into my glorious future. I curl up my lips to give a perfect 35-degree smile. Amid the cheers, Yelena comes onto the stage, handing the Star Heaven Swan trophy to me. Congratulations, Lolory. My face blushes, and I bow sincerely to Yelena in the spotlight. Thank you. Since then, I have recalled that scene countless times. Receiving the trophy with a swan's starry wings is a glorious moment. My purest light bloomed so brilliantly that the memory always remains fresh and vivid. How can you not love that, right? Once again, I know I belong on the stage. So she found where she belonged. She found her future. And she changed. She went from being Lolory, the gothic girl, to being the near ambassador of Elegance, and she's much happier. So let's switch to the original form. So I think this story works on two levels. And the first way of seeing it and feeling it is that we've all chosen a persona in high school, a subculture to hide in for safety as we learn to navigate the mob mentality it's not only school, but society itself. Once you're out of school, it's not as bad within, it's like a microcosm of mob mentality when you're in school, and it's not so bad once you get out and you're in society. But you do find safety in subcultures, as, like I said, you learn to navigate that. And when we graduate, we no longer have to seek the safety of subcultures and conformity. And we can start to learn who exactly we are and what we enjoy and how we want to exist. And there is a psychological freedom when you graduate from school that cannot be understated. And we see Lolory, a 17-year-old, start to go through this understanding and freedom. And it's exhilarating to relive it through her story. And the second thing about the story, the second level that it works on, is that she successfully changes herself. Not just a little bit, but drastically changes herself. She steps onto the stage and into the spotlight. And the thing is, it's easy to hide. It's easy to stay within the safety of anonymity. But then a part of you doesn't get to sing. And I know, for me, I wear clothes that will help me fade unnoticed into the background. I'm invisible, and it keeps me safe. But I also don't get the joy of wearing beautiful, unique clothes. I'm safe, but at what cost? And that is the beauty of Lolory's story. She encourages us to live. She encourages us to bring out the parts of our personality that are more daring and more adventurous. And that is why she's one of my favorite characters so far in Shining Nikki. So her SSR story is also great. We get to see her strength and intelligence, but I am going to stop here because the themes in the SSR story are different to the themes in this story, and I don't want to water down the impact of the first story. So that wraps everything up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning a little more about Lolory, who's our amazing guild admin. This is our guild admin, which is really cool. And so thank you for joining me, and I hope everyone has a lovely day. All right, bye.